Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, the host of Forbes True Crime. Joining me now is Isabel Vincent and Thomas Jason Anderson, the co-authors of Gold Bar Bob. Isabel and Thomas, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
At one point, Bob Menendez was one of the most powerful lawmakers and Democrats in this country. He served as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Life looks a lot different now for the former politician. He's currently sitting behind bars. He's serving out an 11-year jail sentence. He was found guilty on all charges against him in his corruption trial. Your new book explores the meteoric rise and just incredible fall of Bob Menendez. I'm curious, I want to ask you to start off the conversation. Who is Bob Menendez? Because in the book, he's described in a lot of different ways. He's entitled, self serving, hardworking, at points, a beloved politician who really helps his constituents out. So, to start off the conversation, how would you both characterize Bob Menendez?
Tom, do you want to go first or?
Well, sure. I mean, I think he's really a combination of everything you've ever heard about him, really. Seriously. I mean, he's a chameleon, first of all, which allows him to be all types of other types of political creatures. And so sometimes he's a tough guy when he has to be a tough guy. Sometimes he's a really nice guy who really services his constituents. But at the end of the day, I would if I were to define Bob Menendez, I would say that he's more defined by the environment he grew up in and by the nation that gave him the opportunity that he was able to take advantage of. And so he truly is an American story. You could only be in America. There's no other place in the world where you could go from being where he was, basically born. He was born in New York City on January 1st, 1954, poor to a mother to illegal immigrants into the country basically, and who did not have citizenship. He had two older siblings already. His father had a gambling problem. He was an alcoholic, and so Bob was born into that situation, and he was able to rise from that to become the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, one of the most powerful politicians in the history of our country. And that could only happen in America. But at the same time, he was brought down. His corruption brought him down, which is also an American story. Because in other places in the world, when someone gets as powerful as him, it's impossible to dislodge them. But in America, yes, America gives, but America also takes away. And so I just think if you want to define Bob, he's a true American story, and he's a reflection of the times that he grew up in and the times that he was a politician in.
And Isabel, what about you? Because you were covering Bob Menendez for around a decade.
Yeah, more than that actually. I mean, I like to think of Bob Menendez in Shakespearean terms, hubris, all these overarching ambitions that he had. But I think one of the best descriptions of Bob Menendez came from a letter to Judge Sidney Stein, so the federal judge who just sentenced him to 11 years in prison. And it was from his daughter, Alicia Menendez, and she described her father as scrappy. Again, just building on what Thomas said, somebody who came from nothing, a real self-made man who rose through the politics of New Jersey. I mean, he um, grew up in Union City, hard scrabble town across the Hudson. His original backers were sort of the Cuban mob, and but he never let that be sort of a blemish on his career. I mean, he sort of made up who he was. He claimed that his family was fleeing Cuba. So his mother, two siblings, and his dad fled Cuba in, like, we don't actually know the date, but he claimed that they were coming to escape um, appropriations by the Castro regime, but in fact, they came way before Fidel Castro came to power. But that was an important sort of life story for him, if you will, because um, he wanted to build a base with the anti-Castro Cubans in South Florida and in Union City. And what Tom and I discovered, what what I didn't know was that Union City was really the northern headquarters of the anti-Castro movement in the United States. So this is where he came from. And as Thomas said, he reached the pinnacle of American democratic politics and then had like a huge slide down.